On today's show, it's a game day preview. The Ottawa Senators open their regular season on the road in Tampa Bay.
We got lineup notes, players to watch, and a whole lot more.
This is Brady Tkachuk, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
Your Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome. You are locked on to the Ottawa Senators. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That is over at FanDuel. Today is Thursday, October 9th, and Pilsy, the Ottawa Senators are back.
The Ottawa Senators are back, the official start of the NHL regular season. And Ross, there's so many reasons to be excited for the Ottawa Senators to be back. I just can't wait for the sound of skates after the opening face-off.
The first block shot, man, like winding up at the point, and Ridley Gregg just slides, shin pads first, eats one, and then the play goes the other way.
Watching both power play units snap it around. They're going to be the best power play in the league. Watch out.
And goalie-friendly show. Linus Ullmark's first glove save, whether it's a nice routine one or if he goes full Boston Bruins slide across, robbing a sure goal, that's going to fire me up.
Jake Sanderson, smooth speed burst blowing by everybody, whether it's offensive or defensive, doesn't matter. That skating is beautiful to watch.
And he does it effortlessly. You're like, oh man, he's moving out there, and then everyone else just looks like they're skating in quicksand. How about Brady Tkachuk during the national anthem when the camera pans to him, and now you know from our interview this past summer that he's turning into a stallion out there. The 7-horse is going to hum.
Timmy passing up a prime shooting opportunity.
No,
classic.
No, he's ripping one on his first opportunity tonight, and it's going in the back of the net.
He better. Speaking of going in the back of the net, Pinto with the tongue out Selly after a beauty shorthanded goal.
Oh, I'll take a tongue out Selly after any goal. How about a power play goal for Shane Pinto tonight? With Batherson out, he might get an opportunity on that first unit.
I'm down for that. Any of the boys giving a let's effing go to the bench, firing everyone up. Oh.
And you know when that's going to happen, right? That's going to be after a big fight where a guy stands up for his teammate, looks at the bench and says, hey, boys, let's go. And whether it's not a fight, it's going to be Thomas Chabot just being the ultimate team hype man after a goal. This guy loves the boys more than anybody.
Oh, yeah, Shabby brings the vibes. Or Claude Giroux diving for that loose puck, making a desperation play to keep it alive.
Oh, man. Looking like Vladdy Jr. sliding into home plate, eh? Oh.
And, of course, Ross, finally, we're getting back to the postcast, and nothing sounds better than Danger Flutes to fire up that postcast.
We're looking forward to this season more than any other.
Yeah.
This is year 6 of the Locked On Senators podcast. We started this as a twinkle in our eye, just a hope and a dream, getting extra reps at school, and it has become what it has because of the great citizens and the unbelievable fan base that the Ottawa Senators have. You got to see playoffs last year. It's time to raise the bar. The standard is the standard, and there's some expectation on this group. We'll get to the full game day preview. Sens Lightning. We got lineup notes. There is one alteration from yesterday's lineup, but it's not the one that we had our qualm with. So that we'll wait for. But Senators hockey is back, and talk about not dipping your toes in, jumping off the 4th level at the diving board at your local community center. They're going up against the teams that have won 4 of the last 6 Stanley Cups on the road. Tonight in Tampa, Saturday in Florida against the Panthers, who will already have 2 games under their belt by then. It's going to be a test right away.
Yeah, I mean, no easy matchups to get started for the Ottawa Senators on the road especially, but these are measuring stick games, Ross. Your hot take, your spiciest take was the Sens would finish 2nd or 1st in the Atlantic Division. To do that, you're going to have to be better than one of these teams, or maybe even both of them. Who knows? So the East runs through Florida, as far as I'm concerned. So let's see it right off the bat.
But there won't be any overreactions from me, at least, in these first 2 games.
No. I mean, we were a little guilty of overreacting in the preseason, or I'll speak for myself. But I'm not worried. I'm not anxious. I'm excited, Ross. I feel good about this.
So do I. And there's so much reason for optimism around this Ottawa Senators team. They made the playoffs last year. But then you look at the player points and you're like, man, I think Timmy could have had 10 more points. Brady at 55, that's unlikely going to happen again. Jake Sanderson had that unbelievable second half. If he produced the same amount in the first half of the season, what would his numbers have looked like at the end of the year? There is just so much room for internal growth. Heck, Fabian Zetterlund scored 2 goals in a Senators uniform in over 20 games. He's got the potential to pop here. I think
on
that's
the top
what it
line,
is here.
No less.
The bottle's been shaken all off season. It's a carbonated one, and you just want to crack that thing open, let the boys flow out, and let this season get underway, because there is so much reason to believe that this team will be much better than last year, despite not many changes being made in the offseason. And one of the changes in the offseason is not even going to be in the lineup tonight. So it's going to be, I think, all about the internal growth this year for the Ottawa Senators, and I believe that they have the pieces to do it.
I'll spin zone it, Ross, as no or little changes, as Steve Staios corrected Bruce. He said, no, I did make some changes, Bruce, is actually a good thing, because that means that you believe in your group. You believe in your core. Guys got extended. Only minor roles were filled. We're talking fourth line players and bottom pair defensemen, really. So it shows that the Ottawa Senators management, coaching staff, and probably players are like, we got a group here that we believe in. We've got all the right pieces, we feel like. So this is just an opportunity to build more chemistry, because often look at the teams that make big changes, especially in the offseason, and I'll go even further in free agency. Look at the Nashville Predators. They won the offseason last year. Well, they had to make all those big changes because they weren't happy with how their team was, and they felt they were desperate to have big splashes, and that doesn't always work out. So I think the Ottawa Senators are in a great spot.
Imagine bragging about winning the offseason.
Yeah, hot Dorian summer or hot Pierre summer.
Exactly.
It doesn't always work out.
No, it doesn't. So Ottawa's got that continuity from last season. We will get to where the pieces of the puzzle are being placed and why it might be the right decision against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Lightning lineup is out as well, so we'll get to our game day preview and players to watch. Our first Locked On players. Pillsy's got a parlay of the day. That's all next. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. Guys, the NFL season is here. The NHL season is here too, now that the Ottawa Senators are playing. And FanDuel's making sure you're ready for every kickoff and every puck drop with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love FanDuel. Ross loves FanDuel, and you should too. They got awesome ways to play however you like to bet. Player props, same game parlays. Pillsy's parlay of the day is out there. Go check out my Twitter, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. It makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. And of course, everyone's going to be watching the Ottawa Senators up against the Tampa Bay Lightning on
Plus money.
Plus 142 for the money line. The over-under set at 6.5. And there's so many awesome prop bets that you can get into. So use FanDuel. It's quick, easy, and the best way to add a little more energy to every sporting event. So if you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet.
Are you looking for a place to catch the game tonight? Check out the GLEBE Central Pub. The Locked On Senators podcast is proudly partnered with the GLEBE Central Pub because we love the vibes that are absolutely free at the GCP. They know that you need a nice neighborhood pub and it's in a great spot. Walking distance from Lansdowne, so you can get there easily, whether you're watching a Red Black 67s game, Ottawa Charge. It is the place to be. They've got the Sens games rolling, and they also, speaking of rolling, the GCP Shuttle is back. All October games are available on their website. Go to GLEBECentralPUB.com, Sens/event bus, and get your tickets there. $18 round trip to and from the CTC. The bus leaves an hour and 15 minutes before the game and gets you there right in time for puck drop. And they also get you back to the GCP afterwards. It is too easy not to jump on the shuttle. Plus, they've got something going on at the GCP every night of the week. My favorite, live music every Saturday night with no cover ever. So head to where the vibes are free. It's the GCP, 779 Bank Street, and let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. All right, Pillsy, game day for the Ottawa Senators taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Lightning looking to get back on track. They finished second in the Atlantic Division last season after finishing fourth and third in the previous number of seasons. They have made the playoffs in 8 consecutive years, but after losing in the Stanley Cup final following their 2 victories, they've lost in the first round for 3 straight years. So this is a team that's had success, won cups, the core all still there from those 2 championships, but they're hungry after back-to-back first-round losses to the ultimate Stanley Cup champion, Florida Panthers. But before we get to Tampa, it's Locked On Senators. We got to start with the Ottawa Senators, and their lineup tonight is missing a key forward and a defenseman that we expect, if healthy, will play in all 82 games. Drake Batherson did skate this morning. He's hopeful to be there on Saturday, whereas Tyler Kleven did not make the trip. So we will see if Kleven is good to go for the home opener on Monday. Tim Stützle will center the top line between Brady Tkachuk and Fabian Zetterlund. That will be followed up by Dylan Cousins, David Perron, and Michael Amadio. The quote-unquote third line is Shane Pinto with Ridley Gregg and Claude Giroux. And then Lars Eller will make his Senators regular season debut, centering Nick Cousins and Ole Lycksell. On the back end, Jake Sanderson with Artem Zub, Thomas Chabot with Nick Jensen, and Donovan Sabrango with Nicholas Matinpalo. Linus Ullmark starts in goal.
Let's start with the obvious spot here, Ross. The third pair, Jordan Spence, is a healthy scratch for game 1 as an Ottawa Senator. Now, that's got to be very disappointing for him, especially after in the offseason we saw that call where Ken Holland was calling him saying, "You've been traded. We feel like you're not going to get the opportunities you deserve in LA. So hopefully you get better chances in Ottawa." And first night, healthy scratch to Nicholas Matinpalo. Oh, I feel for the kid. That's tough. But I don't think this is a reason to panic. I don't think this is going to be the back in the day Artem Zub healthy scratch for weeks or anything like that. I think this is simply getting a more shut down, physical, bigger defenseman in Matinpalo there with Sabrango to kind of hold down the fort when that pair's out there. And then when Tyler Kleven is back, I have every bit of confidence that they will go with Kleven and Spence as that third pair. So let's not overreact here. Is it disappointing? Yes, but I don't think it's a huge deal.
Steve Stais mentioning on TSN 1200 this morning as well that everybody's surprised Nick Jensen's able to play coming off of his hip surgery. So they needed to be sure that the right side would be okay with or without Jensen. So Spence is the odd man out, and I would expect it unless there's an egregious error tonight by one of those bottom pair defensemen. I would be surprised if Spence gets in on Saturday. My guess is the home opener is the first time we'll see Jordan Spence, but it does highlight the depth of this team. And Matinpalo had a good year. I keep wanting to call it decent, but based on expectations, he had a good year for the Ottawa Senators. He was steady on the third pair, so we'll see how that looks in tonight's game because he didn't play much, if at all, with Donovan Sabrango last season. Kleven and Matinpalo were tied at the hip, it felt like, on the third pair. Pilsy, I know you've been looking forward to this, your first Locked On player to watch today.
Well, let's just address the other change in the lineup that is a little bit surprising. Ole Lycksell will be on the fourth line on the right wing. I really thought that, similar to his thinking on the bottom pair, that Travis Green would go with Curtis McDermott as the fourth line right winger, especially since Sens abroad, former Belleville Senator Curtis Douglas, the absolute mutant, 6'9", 243 pounds, will be getting in the lineup for his first NHL game with the Tampa Bay Lightning. I kind of thought you'd want to go mutant on mutant there, but Travis Green goes a different route here with Ole Lycksell. Well-deserved, though, by Ole Lycksell to get this spot. So that's another interesting lineup change that we'll see for tonight's game.
And even though it's Ole Lycksell's first opportunity with the Ottawa Senators, he does have NHL games under his belt with the Philadelphia Flyers. So you're not putting in a pure rookie, if you will. He played 19 NHL games last year, 18 the year before, and even 8 the year before that. So it's not going to be the most inexperienced player. He's also got almost 200 games of AHL play, and he's played against men in the Swedish league for like 4 years before that. So this is not your typical rookie, even though he is making his Senators debut tonight. I like the look of that better because I thought Lars Eller actually had some decent offensive looks in his preseason game, his lone one he played with Ottawa. So I think giving him someone that he could at least have a bit of offensive chemistry with and move the puck and get some touches, I much prefer seeing Lycksell in the lineup here. McDermott will play his 5 minutes in the games where he needs to, but I would have also been nervous seeing McDermott in here, that it would be a consistent theme throughout the season. Why is McDermott playing 50 games, that sort of thing? So I think that it shows that Travis Green understands that getting off to a hot start is important, and you need to have your better hockey players in the lineup for tonight's game. Good on Lycksell. He earned this spot with a very good training camp, so I'm looking forward to seeing him. You put the brakes on it. You told me before the show, I'm fired up. I got this prop bet. I'm so excited. I'm assuming that's where you're going for your Locked On player, so I was trying to get you there a little quicker, but you made the people wait. Who are you locked on to tonight?
Yes, sir. I am locked on to number 20, Fabian Zetterlund, on that top line with Brady Tkachuk and Tim Stützle. And we've been talking about it all offseason, Ross. This is the shooter that they brought in to play with Tim Stützle, in my opinion. And I think Fabian Zetterlund is going to be ripping every single puck on net, any chance he gets. And go see our friends over at FanDuel, because I love this prop bet. Fabian Zetterlund to get 4+ shots on goal is plus 470. That's insane odds, in my opinion. So I put $20 on it to win 114. So I'm confident Zetterlund's going to have a good game, and I think he's going to come flying out of the gate. And if you're playing on a line with Brady Tkachuk, always a smart decision to get the puck on net and let Brady do some work on rebounds, tips, screens, things like that. So this is a prop I really like, and I'm excited to see Zetterlund being used properly in this lineup, in my opinion.
I'm going to go with Shane Pinto as my Locked On player, and he missed the last time the Senators played in Tampa. Remember, it was right before the Four Nations, and they were dead men walking through Tampa with no Pinto, no Norris, and no Stützle. Yeah. They need Shane Pinto to be offensively able this season to pop off. And he's had 2 20-goal seasons under his belt. Was on pace for 18 in the year he played 41. But I'm looking for that third line, which I believe will play second line minutes. And that's no disrespect to Perron or Dylan Cousins, but I think we're going to see Shane Pinto up and around 19-20 minutes tonight with Ridley Gregg and Claude Giroux. We've talked about it a bunch since that line's been put together, but it bears repeating that we know that though that can be a shutdown line, but adding the element of the creativity of Claude Giroux on that line, I think will benefit Shane Pinto. And we've seen it on the power play. Let's see it at even strength. That little pop play where Giroux comes down the right wing, makes the defender suck in close enough that it opens space for Pinto in the high slot to get that shot off. Wouldn't that be something if we see those two connect on a goal tonight? So I'll be locked on to Shane Pinto, and I love the Fabian Zetterlund 4 shots on goal. I think he's going to be given one objective tonight from the coaching staff: rip the puck. Brady's going to get to the net for rebounds, and Timmy, we want you to shoot too, brother. but we know it's not always realistic. So get Zetterlund the puck in shooting areas. We got the Tampa Bay Lightning as the opponent tonight. Let's take a look at their lineup next. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day. All right, Pilsy, it is a 7 o'clock puck drop tonight. The Senators taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. We will have the postcast for you right after the game live on YouTube. We'll have that set up earlier on in the day, so you can even use it as a chat room while you're watching the game. We love seeing the citizens interact with each other there and in the comments below. We listed off at the start of today's show so many things we're excited about with Sens hockey back. We want to see yours in the comments on YouTube. What are you most excited about Senators hockey being back? I wish I could say I was excited about the opponent tonight, Pilsy, but the Tampa Bay Lightning, they're a wagon. It's hard to really poke holes in, especially their forward group.
Yeah, their forward group, in my opinion, is the best, if not one of the best in the league. They've got so much depth. They brought back Yanni Gourde. He plays a perfect third line role for them. They're pretty much fully healthy other than Nick Paul. Brandon Hagel is fine after the preseason stuff. So this is a really good team. And although we want to be fired up, this is a tough test for game one.
And you look at the top line, which I would argue is a top 3 line in the National Hockey League with Braden Point, Jake Gensel, and Nikita Kucherov.
Yeah, they're up there.
That's going to be a very tall test for Jake Sanderson and Artem Zub, who I'd imagine gets the majority of ice time against those guys tonight. But you got to make sure that they can't beat you off the rush. We know Kucherov's amazing wherever he is, but Braden Point especially has so much speed that he can get you on your heels, and Gensel's got one of the best shots in the league. The guy scored 41 goals last season. He's also a 3-time 40-goal scorer in the National Hockey League. Lots of that coming with Pittsburgh, but he's settled in really nicely after his first full season in Tampa, where he finished with 80 points in 80 games. The second line is Anthony Cirelli in between Brandon Hagel and Gage Gonsalves. The third line, Yanni Gourde with Mitchell Chafee and Oliver Bjorkstrand. The fourth line is Pontus Holmberg between Curtis Douglas and Connor. Don't call me Morgan Geeky. It's his younger brother. On defense, Victor Hedman with don't call me Taylor Radish. Call me Darren, younger brother. Again, we got Ryan McDonough with Eric Chernak, Emil Lilleberg with Max Crozier, and then in goal, Andre Vasilevsky, who still somehow, some way, has the worst save percentage versus any opponent is the Ottawa Senators.
Crazy. Yeah. I mean, we're not going to do the we want Vazzy chance this year, Ross, like we did in the past, but that is nice to know that one of the top goalies in the entire league typically doesn't have success up against the Ottawa Senators, or at least is less successful than usual, I will say.
The only teams that he has a worse save percentage against are the Calgary Flames, the Vegas Golden Knights, and the Winnipeg Jets, Western Conference teams.
Yeah, the games played are lower there.
They're 13-14. He's played 20 career games against Ottawa and has an .895 save percentage, but somehow, with those numbers, a .302 goals against average, still 12-8-0 against the Ottawa Senators. So still has a winning record, and Vasilevsky is one of the most athletic goaltenders in the National Hockey League. It will take a lot to get pucks past him. I'll start with my lookout player, and I'm going with Nikita Kucherov. I'm not going to try to be all hipster with this one. Nikita Kucherov is the guy you have to watch out for when you're playing the Tampa Bay Lightning. And his career numbers against everybody are ridiculous. But when you look in particular against the Ottawa Senators, yeah, that's the team he has the most points against in his career. In 39 games, he has 53 points.
Oh, man.
Against Ottawa. So you're going to want to look out when he's on the ice. He's got 52 career points against Detroit and no more than 50 against every other opponent.
Yeah, Nikita Kucherov is an incredible player, still a force to be reckoned with.
He has 38 assists in 39 games against Ottawa.
Yeah. And the guy that's going to be feeding him the puck a lot is my lookout player, number 21, Braden Point. I think Braden Point is one of the most underrated players in the NHL, in my opinion. I think he gets glossed over because of Kucherov, Gensel there now, Hedman, Vasilevsky, and when Stamkos was there, he was always the top guy. But Braden Point is elite. Not quite the numbers that Kucherov has against the Sens, Ross, but in 28 games against the Sens, he has 34 points. But the number I'm scared of more is 18 goals in 28 games, but he shoots at a 23.7% clip up against the Ottawa Senators. So these two, when they're on the ice, I mean, I want Jake Sanderson and Artem Zub up against them every single shift. I know obviously Tampa gets the last change, so that's tough to fully match up there, but as best as Travis Green can, put them up there. And then I think you get Shane Pinto, Ridley Gregg, and Claude Giroux up against them as the checking line there. Like when those guys are on the ice, don't try to create offense, just try to maintain or limit what these three can do because they're all lethal.
JJ Moser is out tonight for Tampa. He's still serving a suspension, deserved from the preseason. He was a part of the Mikhail Sergachev trade at the 2024 draft, and he had a plus 20 rating and had 14 points in 54 games last year. So that's why Crozier's in the lineup there on the right side. So it's not a big gap compared to the other elite defensemen that Tampa has in Victor Hedman and Ryan McDonough, both of whom are defying time. It's not a situation where big shutdown defensemen typically age a little more quickly in terms of their play falling off. Victor Hedman had 66 points last season. He still can beat you individually. And then Ryan McDonough is a block machine, and he is always a tough test when he's out on the ice. That's their shutdown pair. McDonough with Eric Chernak, who's like 6'6", 240. Yeah, you got to beat them with speed, and you got to have a lot of it if you're the Ottawa Senators. This is also Tampa's season opening game, so no team has shown their cards yet, so to speak, and it's going to be all systems go tonight. And hopefully Ottawa brings the storm to Tampa.
Yeah, and Ross, that opening for Tampa at their arena is electric, no pun intended. Like I remember sitting there for the start of
they got the little
yeah, I remember sitting there and my heart rate was like going through the roof on my watch, and I was like, this is a little bit too much. Like I'm overstimulated here. It's absolutely insane. So for their home opener, they're going to be jacked up. And I got some keys to the game as well, Ross, if you'll allow me.
Yeah, their jumbotrons is the size of a football field too.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah. So and they got the outdoor bar there, so everybody will be ready to go in Tampa.
You went there?
Sure. Oh yeah. Yeah.
You went to okay.
We went to the outdoor bar. What, you sound disappointed by that?
No, I'm just surprised. I thought you were just a Coca-Cola guy.
Rum and Coke.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Keys to the game for the Ottawa Senators.
Keys to the game.
This was the focus of the trade deadline. This is a stat that the Ottawa Senators know they are not good in and need to improve, but up against the Tampa Bay Lightning, it needs to be emphasized even more. 5-on-5 scoring. The Tampa Bay Lightning finished with the 5th best power play percentage last season, 25.9, and then penalty killing, 6th best in the league with 81.6. So this is not one of those games where the Ottawa Senators can just try to hold on even strength and then make their work on the power play. You got to find a way to get the even strength goals. And at the same time, you cannot be taking penalties. Like we looked at that top line, even strength, how good they are on the power play. Kucherov is even more deadly. Gensel, an elite sniper. Like you cannot be giving this team power play opportunities. So they're going to have to find a way to do it even strength, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like that call too. And we mentioned Ottawa not making many changes. They made theirs at the deadline. Same can be said for Tampa. Like they made those 2 big additions in Yanni Gourde and Oliver Bjorkstrand. Otherwise, they're pretty much running back the same team. The only differences are on their 4th line, where they brought in from the Toronto Maple Leafs Pontus Holmberg and then Curtis Douglas, who they just claimed off waivers from Utah. So it's the Tampa Bay Lightning that you've known the last number of years. Don't give them power play opportunities and try to jump out to an early lead and make the fan base in the building start to question whether or not they're going to be able to pull it off. I do not like the Florida games this early in the season because I want the Snowbirds to be down there and give Ottawa a little bit of a boost. I know my folks would be there if it was November or later, but I don't know if that's Tampa pulling the strings in the state of Florida saying, let's get these Canadian teams down here before they fill up our barn.
Hey, we'll be a couple snowbirds in the end of March, Ross, as we're going there for my bachelor party. So we'll bring it when we can. But yes, the Florida and warm weather games, ideally you want those later in the winter, just for the vibes too, to be like, all right, let's get on the road. Let's get good vibes going here. But either way, the Ottawa Senators are going to have to find some way, somehow, to make this Tampa Bay Lightning team fall behind early. I agree with that assessment as well. Like, if Tampa gets an early lead, that's not a team that gives it up. They're a very well-experienced team. John Cooper is one of the best coaches in the entire league, in the entire world. Even on the international stage, he's there. So you can't make a lot of mistakes against this team.
Yes, the Tampa Bay Lightning were 35-8-6 last year when scoring first, 25-3-3 at home.
Yeah.
So you want to be able to jump on them early. Easier said than done, of course, but it's going to be tough. I can see why the Senators are underdogs, but if you think I'm not hitting that plus money, you're out of your mind. I'm so fired up for this game. We know everybody is as well. It's going to be a long wait until 7 p.m., but you know we're going to be watching the game on Twitter at Sens Central. You can follow the show there, and the postcast is all the way back. Pills, any final thoughts on today's show?
Final thoughts for me is everybody enjoy the day. Make sure you got your routine going. Ross, I'm already planning what I'm having for dinner, what drinks I'm getting. If you're wondering, chicken wings on the barbecue, that's the plan. So make sure you got your routine. Make sure you got the jersey you want. Make sure your subscriptions are all working so you're not panicking as the game's starting. Like, be prepared. If the Ottawa Senators are going to be prepared, the fans need to be as well. I don't want anyone scrambling around as the anthems are going to get everything ready. Don't do that. Be prepared.
Tampa is, or sorry, I shouldn't say Tampa. Well, Tampa versus Ottawa. The game is on TSN 5. So just so everybody knows, there's no scramble last minute. Oh, where can I find it? The game will be on TSN 5. Stat of the day to finish up today's show. Daniel Alfredson, who will be on the bench tonight, of course, as an assistant coach with the Ottawa Senators. I want to ask the boys how many points they think Alfie could have if he played the full year next to Timmy and Brady. I think it would be more than a few. In 2008, January 24th, Daniel Alfredson had a hat trick and 4 assists, at Ottawa Senators record in an 8-4 win in Tampa. So there you go. The most points in a single game by an Ottawa Senator happened in the building where this game will be taking place tonight. Alfie with a hat trick and 4 assists in an 8-4 win. So there you go. Stat of the day. Stat of the day.
What player would you predict could match that in tonight's game?
Tim Stützle.
Tim Stützle. Love it. Let's go.
Yeah. Not bad for 21 minutes and 41 seconds of action for Alfie. 3 goals on 4 shots in that game.
Tidy piece of business.
Yeah, not bad. Andre Mazzaros, who just started following us on Instagram. He was a +6 in an 8-4 win that night.
That's pretty impressive.
And that ties it back too, because Andre Mazzaros was traded from Ottawa to Tampa in exchange for Philip Kuba. So there you go. Little knowledge on the way out. Senators hockey is back. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. Thank you for liking, watching, listening, and subscribing to the show. Be a friend, tell a friend to get locked on Senators. We will be with you every step of the way, 5 days a week, plus postcast all season long. Let's have an absolutely fantastic year. I would love to do that, and we know that y'all would too. Let's have this season go until June. Let's make Pilsy panic of his wedding June 13th. Let's have the Senators still playing hockey right then and there. This has been another edition of the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.